Greetings, everyone. Rev.Hawksblood here with my co-host, Tina Bird. I just want to say a few things. I'm sorry about last Tuesday. Tina was in the hospital. My voice was so screwed up. They were playing with my site the whole time. But if you get a chance, listen to it. Sean David Morton was on. He said some really important stuff. He explained a couple things about why he was arrested. So there's so much going on in the UFO world. We're going to start somewhere in all this mess. But the weather here is crazy. I haven't seen the sky in the past month and a half. I can't film anything. Plus, it's been raining. We get heavy rain in the middle of the night. It's pouring. It sounds like the house is falling down. But everybody I know is seeing ships and telling me and this, that, and the other thing. And if you're online, you're going to see more videos and more pictures of aliens. Everything's coming out. The government can't cover up the stuff that's coming out. I mean, they're going to try to shut Twitter, TikTok down, but that's not going to happen. I mean, China, I think it's an incredible site. I'm sure it's controlled by China, and they trying to put their information there. But there's so much information there instantly. You learn things every day if you go on there. But for me, due to this problem, I lost 3 of my Facebook pages. I lost my LinkedIn site. I still have Twitter. I'm lucky I got YouTube. YouTube threatened me already as well. So if in the near future we might be switching over to another company because they're going to freaking block me on this site. So let me introduce Tina Bird, the great person that I work with. Greetings, Tina.
Hi, Tommy. Hi, guys, and hello, everyone else. I'm Tina Bird here from Southampton in the UK. Sorry I've been absent for the last few weeks. I've not been well, and I've been in and out of doctors and hospital. I do have a bad chest and cough at the moment as well, but it's great to be back and see you. I hope you're all doing well. This week we're going to be talking about, you guessed it, aliens again. There's a few other things that come out, like NASA's come out with some they're jumping on the bandwagon now, so I'd be interested to see what NASA turns up and if they're going to come forward all the images they've taken over the years. But I'm not sure if it's just like from they've drawn a line under it. NASA's now investigating. Whether they're going to do that historically or not is a different matter. Here in the UK, the skies have been bright. It's sunny. The average is about 23, 22, 23. Bright and sunny. Has been really breezy the last few days, but today the breeze has dropped off a little bit. So it's been quite good. And again, I apologise for being absent, but things go on. So we've got a great show. First of all, I'd like to a few shout outs. While I've not been well, and my friends, people have been making me stuff and bringing them in. I have a UFO spaceship bath bomb that was brought over to me, and a little skull. I think I showed you that a few weeks ago. Was made by one of my friends. Did go to on last month and do a talk for the Basis Project. That's a big shout out to Miles Johnson. He's got his own channel there on YouTube, Basis Project. You can find Miles and the Basis Project on YouTube and Facebook. Also, when I was out, I saw one of my old friends who gave a speech alongside me, Ben Emily Jones. He was there. And Gary Heseltine. Gary gave me this book and he signed it for me. Very lovely gentleman. Gary Heseltine's an ex-police officer and he looks into UFOs for the police. Get his book. You can buy it now. There's a picture of Gary on the back. There you go. And it's called Non-Human. It's about the Rendlesham UFO incident. 42 years of denial. So it's definitely worth a read. It's very good. It's action-packed, full pages, very good explanation. Please get it. Support Gary and everyone in the UFO world. Gary is the chairman of ISA here in the UK, International Coalition for Extraterrestrial Contact. And he's also the editor-in-chief of the UFO Truth magazine here in the UK. So get this guy. You can buy it on Amazon. It's out now. So thank you very much, Gary, for that. There was something else, but I'll get back to that. But I'd just like to, big shout out to all the bits and pieces you can see behind me accumulating. And I've got a Patches Dragon Crew patch, an original one. So I've got lots of I've got little globes and little signs and little UFOs and people signed and sent me stuff and stuff. My pictures with Giorgio Duclos and Eric von Däniken I have out there. Loads of pictures with loads of different people from the UFO world. So I do get about a bit, but I mainly only talk about abduction. I don't really. We do talk about UFOs and other different phenomena. Tommy's has years of experience more than me. He has some great people on the show, like Sean David Morton last week. Again, I've not been well, so I was unable to come on. I always miss the good stuff for some reason. I do apologise. So yeah, and I'll get sent some stuff all the time, but please come on to, you can see my Encounters YouTube channel. So if you go onto YouTube, you see Encounters. I've only put a couple of little videos up about me talking and my speech. My last speech I did the true cost of alien abduction, the human side of contact. So that's that. But we'll get back to Tommy. He's going to come on in a second, and we're going to open the guys. If you'd like to come on the show, if you'd like us to talk to you, if you'd like to come on and ask a question or be interviewed, if you'd like to ask me and Tommy a question, please come on the show, guys. Ask away. So, Tommy, I've got a question for you. What do you reckon about this NASA? NASA's now jumped on the bandwagon after all the years from the start till now. They're drawn a line under it and now looking forward. They're not investigating historical cases, pictures, or evidence, I believe. I don't know. Hello, John. Nice to see you in the chat room again. So what's your view on NASA now looking into UFOs?
Well, they're only going to put a little bit of information out there. Yeah. Now, it's exploding wide open. They put Lou Elizondo out there for the past 2 years. He said absolutely nothing. And he's saying a lot of the stuff's drones. The stuff they're releasing, when it gets released, like 2 months ago when they said balloons were flying over us, there was 5 things that flew over us. 3 of them were UFOs. 1 of them flew over Hawaii. That never got publicized. Now, everybody I know here in Hawaii that I talk to and tell them to look at the sky are seeing all kinds of ships. My friend next door filmed 12 ships coming out of the ground and shooting out into space. He won't let me put that on mine. But I'm glad he doesn't, because I'm being harassed greatly now. If you haven't noticed what happened last week. Now, just let me show you this real fast. This is, see the title of that? Sands of Time?
Yeah.
Oh, well, backwards. Sorry. All right. This is probably one of the most important books you could read in the UFO world by Sean, because he has the history of everything that was going on since the Philadelphia experiment. He's dealing with somebody that was involved with that all the way up to now and what's happening. He explains the wars. He explains everything that's going on in detail. He actually found Area 51 and took people out to see the mothership come in there. Ever since then, the government's been on top of him. He prophesied 9/11 happening right 1 year before it and 3 years before that as well. So the government has been watching him. They framed him for 150 charges, put him in jail, tried killing him. He finally got out. He's dying. He's got cancer from his throat down into his lungs. He's doing all right now. That's why he came on. But in the interim, people, there's a few books I suggest you read. I have Tina's autograph, which I'm glad to have. I have Sean's autograph, and Fred Bell, who kind of was his uncle, who actually was on with Jesse Ventura, and he was working with Billy Myers, aliens, and everything else. So the people that I cared about, what's this? Hold on, let me get this real. Hold on 1 second. I'll get Tina. Could you take it for 1 second?
Yeah, take it over. Yeah, put me back on. So, guys, well, Tommy just sorts that out. It's a conspiracy. It's a genuine conspiracy theory for our show. Every time we come on, we have internet connection problems. We have phone calls. We have emails. Our phone goes off. We lose our channel. We lose speed. We lose Wi-Fi connections. So something else is going on. But just while Tommy's off, I had I raised a few questions at my speech, and a lot of people was interested. And thank you for everybody that came along. It was a great day. I really enjoyed it. Now somebody asked me about these clones in the pods that I saw. one of these when they took me one night, and it really occurred to me the other day when I was writing my speech about the human side of contact, about every aspect of being human and being taken, and what that does to a human being and the consequences of that. Now, what would be the consequence? So, if these babies, these claims of me they've taken of me, these DNA babies they've taken of me, they're growing, they're going to another place to release them, grow them, whatever they're going to do with them. Now, they're definitely like me. It's them on the inside, but if they're anything like me, and they are because they have all my memories, what are they going to do? I want to know, firstly, who's going to be legally responsible, who's going to be held accountable and responsible, and what happens if this happens. So what happens when these babies grow up to be adults with my memories, and if they're anything like me, going to think, nah, sod this, I want to go back home, I want to see my friends, I want to see my family, I want to see where I came from. Now, what happens if they leave the place they're at, wreak havoc around the universe because they're not really equipped to be in other places apart from Earth, unless they've changed their genetics to breed on another planet? And then who's responsible for the havoc and chaos they cause, for one? And two, what happens if they come to Earth? Who's going to be legally responsible? So there's a few things, questions unanswered that people haven't really seen. I was just talking, sorry, Tommy, but it was like, who's going to be legally or held accountable? Who's going to be responsible? So if these babies are mine and they're anything like me, and they are, leave the planet they're on. They have the capability to leave the planet they're on. They've had nothing. And if they're anything like me, no, so I want to go home. I want to see where I've come from. I want to see my family. They leave the planet they're on, create menacing havoc around the universe, and come here. Who's responsible for what they do around the universe? And who's responsible if they show up here? Who's legally obliged to look after them? Who's going to clean up after them? Who's going to stop them from being naughty or wrong or killing people? Who's legally, and who's going to take action against that? Who's going to be ultimately responsible? I don't think they thought a lot of things through.
The government has no clue what they're going to do. All right, we got serious problems with AI and the New World Order. Some website's closing. I hope it's not this site. So I'm dealing with. I just got 2 calls. One was from a doctor, and the other one was from my bank. There was $500 put in my bank this morning. They're taking it back out. Somebody put the wrong code in there and put the money in my account. I said, well, you gave it to me. You can't take it back. Well, we can't give it to you. So they just took $500 out of my account. But I'm telling you, I got so many weird things going on with my phone, with my internet, all my sites. I'm just glad we're able to do this show. Now, I'm going to send this link out after, but I can't put it out there, people. If you want to put it out there for me, just take the link that you're watching this and put it out there for me, please. I can't put it on my Facebook. I made a new site, but that's not going to help me. But in the interim, the title is, do you think aliens can help us? Really? Now, see what Tina's going through. And there's probably very few people on this whole planet that are going through what she's going through. Then on top of that, I mean, I've been dealing with this all my life. I knew what Tina was going through when I was 20 years old. I was working with women that lost their children. I mean, her situation's a little bit different, but she's talking about children. And these people lost their children at like a month before the actual supposedly birth time. And one of them was allowed to see their child a year later. They said she'll only get to see him one time. And then she had another child the year after, and they took that child as well. But that's just one person. And I'm talking about years ago. I wasn't writing books. I never got into this to make money. Not like everybody else out there in the real world, this world right now. There's a serious problem, people. The UN Agenda 21-30 is in full swing. And there's going to be one person at the top of that in 7 years. Do we have a clue who that is? No. The alien interrogation is out there. Watch it. Listen to it. Now, don't forget, this is aliens' belief and truth. It's not real, but it's their truth. The same as the Bible has its truth. Everybody has their truth. They think that's the truth. Very few people even know why they're even here. Never mind what's supposed to happen and all the other things around it. But the interim is, there's 9 races I know that are here that have control over this planet. not all these good aliens that are coming here and helping us. You know, it's like somebody on a battle line. One guy has a machine gun, a bazooka, a tank, and 3 guys working with him, and the other guy's standing there with roses. Who do you think's going to win the battle? The person standing there holding the roses, or the guy with the tank and the weapons? So right now we're in the middle of a battle, and if you think good aliens are going to protect us, think again. How can they? What can they do for us? They can't fight with these aliens.
That for good aliens is gone. I have so some evidence. So I know I keep saying it, but for legal reasons, and I've had to cover up certain pieces. This is my action against Southampton General Hospital to take them to court.
Yes.
So, and that is my solicitor has drawn that up, and I'll have a medical report. And I can't, because of legal reasons, I can't. I'm just going to read you a part of this. Now, listen to this. This is a medical report done by a doctor, beep, beep, beep. He was an MB, CHB, DMR, FRCR, radiologist, consultant, and what have you, and blah, blah, blah. So this is a declaration they've signed. This is a medical report, and it states, this is a summary of the things that ran up to. I had a few problems with what they said was ectopic pregnancy, and they took a device at me, apparently, and it states here, and I shall read it. I can't show you the full document yet. Okay. Ectopic pregnancy is often difficult and to get a clinical picture until ultrasound and diagnosis. The lady appeared to have risk factors, namely previously ectopic pregnancy. There's also mention of notes of a device, an uterine coil device. I also had polycystic ovaries, something else, and blah, 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 blah. Now, I didn't have a device because previously to that, it says that I've been trying for IVF for 7 years previously before that. So how would I get a contraceptive device or device? They've not produced it. Apparently, it was incinerated with the contents of what they took out, and they referred to it as the sample. They've taken out just said sample pregnancy was what the words they chose to use. So it will be interesting. So I'm trying to file another action to get my video and DVD released, but because other people don't give their permission, then I can't have it. But this is one of a few of my medical records from the hospital via my solicitor. And yeah, I've got another one like that. So there you go. And that's been put in order, but there's been missing pages. And it also states in here that on a previous operation that they found that my pelvis was completely obliterated from right to left with thousands of needle marks. So they're not sure how that had gotten there. And that I would have the report. It even says here they found growth. So I've got scans of pregnancies that they couldn't determine that did not come. So you can see the egg and the sacs, and they don't know what happened. I've got scans from twins and blood tests to say that I'm pregnant when they've done a scan. It's not there. I've not had a miscarriage. So all that is within my scans and all my reports. I've got drawings there of what they found inside. So other medical notes. I'm trying to find a picture of one of the other scans that was pretty good. So all this is evidence. So this is newer. It takes a long time but it's very not often you get to see your hospital records. But there's pages missing and pages sent and received by person with no email, received by person with no email, sent with person with no email. Yeah. There we go. Specimen bagged and sent for histology. So, specimen bagged and sent for histology. It's a gynecological report. It says here that, yeah, amazing what you actually find out in these medical reports. So, I'm just waiting for the results of all that, and that's taking years and years to get to this place. Absolutely, it is crazy. So, there is more evidence for you, but they said that they incinerated this device they found inside me. There's no medical record of a device being inserted inside me found. But when they did my hysterectomy and took everything else out, and at the time of my ectopic pregnancy, also was a device found, but it hasn't been produced in court, which is interesting.
You
So what do you
know,
make of that, Tommy?
you were even told by the nurse they removed a big black object from your stomach. So a device to keep you from getting pregnant, really? What was it? A blow-up doll inside you that big?
It just said it was the specimen was bagged.
Right. You know, it's like that in 2 cents will get you nowhere.
Was that dead dog? Was it? Because normally we would put a specimen in a bag, you put it in a jar or something like that. And
you're making a lot of friends in the UFO world. What is anybody willing to help you? Any one of them? Because if you demand from the government, like you tried already, to get that video
to the UN, did I tell you?
What was that? You said you wrote a letter to the UN?
Yeah, I haven't had a reply back yet.
Oh, you probably won't.
Well, I'm going to give them 30 days. I think they're quite busy at the moment. So, but I'm going to give them 30 days to see if they reply back to me. And it's quite, they might want to check all their policies. So I'll give them the due.
Who can we really trust in the government that is really involved with helping bring out the truth about UFOs? Not Lou Elizondo, that's for sure. I've been trying to get in touch with him for 1.5 years. And everybody on Skinwalker Ranch, I wrote them another letter yesterday. I wrote them 6 letters already. And they're doing a new thing. Oh, it starts tonight. They're going to be beyond the Skinwalker Ranch. All right. So they're really keeping at it. And now they're going on
tour.
In
the UK, that goes to America and other places. We won't get that for another couple of months yet.
Well, it's just serious problems that we're dealing with, and nobody wants to help bring the truth out.
So my argument, I took a picture of what I wrote to the UN, and I'm just going to read you because I was pretty annoyed when I wrote to the UN.
Sure.
Well, you know what? I've absolutely had enough of all these people saying this, and this. So let me just have a. I'm just going to pull up the piece of my computer, what it says about the UN. 1 second. Right. So there it says there, you can see it says, your message has been successfully sent to the United Nations. There it is there. And it said, hi, I would like some information on the subject and would like to find out about the human rights of abductees. Do abductees have human rights as they have no recourse? Do I have any recourse against an invading species that enters our airspace unimpeded, enters my home uninvited and takes me against my will, under the guise of night, and takes bits out of me, tortures me without my consent? Who is protecting me and where is my justice? I want to know the laws that cover this. How will you catch them? Who is accountable for my abduction and my health? Who do I make my complaint to? And what other damages? Is being done when they come in and out of our world? What about radiation and bacteria do they bring into our planet? And what is the impact of that on the human race in our air, water, and land? And what are the defenses, defense bodies protect us from this? And who pays abductee damages? And I put, I'd like to have a resolve from this. Please write back to me. And that was, so I sent it off, and there's my thingy. There you go. So I wrote to the UN, just wanting to know what my rights were, because if they have all these policies in place when they meet alien life, who's in charge and what do they say? Well, surely they should be talking to abductees now. Because if abductees, their own people, are telling them this is happening, why aren't they listening to us? Why aren't they doing something?
I know in the United States they appointed some woman and I think 2 other people to be the speakers when aliens come here.
They're already here.
What I'm just saying, they're going to go to them to talk to them about what? Oh, we're here. We're going to be friends with you now. Really, people believe the stuff they read here. I mean, too many people. I watch 90 Day Romance. I watch Catfish. If you ever watch Catfish, you will see how ignorant people are. It's amazing. They're dating somebody online for 3 years, never face-to-face on Skype, never actually met him in person, and they're in love with them. They're sending them money. Some people send thousands of dollars. These people. And then Catfish breaks it down, goes out and finds them and makes them meet each other. They're usually not even the person they think they're dealing with. It could be a guy instead of a girl. It could be usually a different kind of woman than the picture that they send. I mean, it's mind-boggling that these people are so desperate for friendship, for love, whatever you want to call it. They're willing to go any which way to do it. Now, and that's just one aspect. Now, people that have no money, they're desperate for money. They're desperate for a job. And now people are starving everywhere. It's just crazy. And what are people doing about it? Listening to whatever some new age person comes out and says, we're going into the golden age. Everything's going to be beautiful. I mean, people wake up. Aliens are not our friends.
No, they're not.
I'm 70 years old. I've been involved in this since I was 6 years old. Never did I see any good proof of a good alien doing a good thing. Now, the only thing that ever happened, which they made it sound like all aliens are trying to protect us, when they shut down a couple nuclear reactors on boats and stuff around the world, basically, you know what? They're telling us, we can't destroy the planet. They won't let us. They want the planet. They don't want us, but they want the planet. People don't understand that. They think they want to help us. Help us what? If we're ignorant, killing each other and attacking and abusing each other, why would they want to bring us to their planet? I mean, people, wake up. We can't be friends with ourselves. Look what I mean. My partners, I deal with Tibet.
We've got human beings like me. On the same note, I found this information people out, and I've been telling people about this. And no, I never heard of it. Don't know what you talk about. This information leaflet is called. It's about an injection called anti-D prolapsis, and with anti-D. So I had this injection at the hospital. Okay.
You know, be careful.
Yeah,
and it's you lost our show the last time. Remember.
Yeah. This just tells you about how it works. Because I'm O-rhesus negative, everything in my body tries to kill my babies and any foreign body because I don't have antigens in my body. So they give you this injection. But they didn't give me an injection while I was pregnant. They gave me an injection after I was pregnant. And I had another one again, just in case I fell pregnant again. But they didn't. They gave me a hysterectomy. And it tells you that they don't know where O-rhesus positive, negative comes from. Until a couple of thousand years ago, everything, even plants, animals, everything was positive. So where doesn't so they like the rhesus macaque. That's where it comes from. That's just the name that they tested it on, a mammal, a monkey. Now my partner is positive, so his bloodline and he's like a positive. So he's like but I'm O-rhesus negative, which means I don't come from there. Where do I come from? How similar am I? No aliens helping me. Am I a hybrid? Am I human? Being abducted has cost me my life. It's made me have injections. It's made me lose my children. It's invaded my body, my DNA. It's changed my life and my future, and it changed the way I see people profoundly and who I trust. So it's just not like somebody said one thing and it's all the way down the line. This thing it just takes over your whole life and invades your life. It's terrible, and the government should be responsible.
You
If they know
know,
what's going on and they can't do nothing, then say. And if they do know something and been covering it up, then what about all those poor people they've arrested wrongly? What about all those poor people that have undergone psychiatric evaluations just for saying they've seen a UFO, let alone saying they've been abducted and had proof of it? But how are they getting their lives back? How's their family getting their lives back? It's not enough.
we've been doing this show for 2 years. Tina's been going through such a hell problem with all her stuff, and doctors are, we don't know, we don't know. Oh, well, we don't know what it is, but it's this, oh, maybe it's that, maybe, and they can't help her. We prove every day, every show we do, she's got radioactive material within her somehow, which nobody wants to deal with. She has all the symptoms of radiation poisoning. Plus, she's got all these problems all the time, and they're not helping her. Why should she believe in anything, especially help from any other thing outside of herself, which she doesn't have? Maybe her boyfriend or things like that. But as far as what? Where's she getting help from? Nowhere. I mean, I wouldn't even want to be in her shoes. I mean, I got to go to the hospital in the next week. Hopefully, they're going to call me. I got so many things wrong, but I'm not going to replace them all. I'm 70 years old. I probably got 8 operations I need to get. Am I going to go through them all? It'll probably take me 2 years to go through them all. And who knows, 2 years from now, my body is going crazy right now. But my devotion is to this show. I don't make money. I pay for it. They raised my price now because I want to save my videos, and they just raised it for that too. But if I keep getting harassed on this show, I'm going to have to switch. Luckily, I knew it would go okay. I knew when Sean came on, I expected anything to happen. And I had all kinds of problems at the beginning of that show. The second he dropped off, my voice came back on. So again, now, whatever's going on between me and Tina, the government really doesn't care. They're not getting involved. They're not helping her, that's for sure. And you think they would be interested out of all the UFO cases when that one person the UFO files too. I can't think of his name offhand, but he's a top chemist and got his degrees, and he works out of a college. And he analyzed 100 UFO cases, and he said 70% of them are brain problems. Then he said another 20% are problems with different kind of chemical reactions in their body. In other words, he's saying that most of them are fake.
So
He said maybe,
now, I'm not sure what I did with my speech bit.
and he said maybe some of them are real. But how can a person that never saw a UFO, never saw an alien, decide if somebody else saw it? It's crazy. Like these UFO people going on about somebody else's experience.
Well,
Nobody knows what a person goes through, like Tina.
Now, I'm not sure if I've actually printed it off. Let me have a look. Oh, what it is, just as Tommy was saying, I don't think I printed the picture off. No, you can now have a brain scan, and it can tell you the damage, the physiological, biological damage it has done to you. So when you have a brain scan now, if you have unlucky enough to have a brain scan, it can show you the damage. So it was on Fox News brought it up that they released files now. Nick Pape was on there talking about it, that they can tell who's been abducted now by having brain scans, and it shows that the people that have come into contact with UFOs and have been abducted are getting biologically, physically, and mentally ill because it's affecting their brains. Oh, that one. Yeah. So it's affecting their brains. And the damage, and it can show you on a scan how much damage has been done to your brain by being abducted, by being just near these creatures and a UFO. So the scientists have biological evidence. So Nick Pape was talking about it a little while ago on Fox News. So it just goes to show you. I'll go hand it back to Tommy in a second. So, the government knows what's going on. If they can list all this damage that does to you, who are they testing it on? If they don't believe in abductions are happening. So,
it's seriously, it's kind of like, do you believe in God? All right. People say they do. Do they really? Probably not. Uh, they believe a program about a God, which is not even close to reality. So, the world's being led falsely, and it happened for a long time. Now, I'm not talking 100 years. I'm talking about not 2,000 years. I'm talking about 100,000 years. Mankind has been reprogrammed. The Egyptians, the Mayans, the Aztecs
Yeah.
all followed aliens. Their truth is not true at all. People are so concerned about the pyramids and what else, why they were created. Those people are all gone, people. Do you realize that? It didn't help them at any level. No matter what they did, what they built, they're not here anymore, are they? So to think that pyramids can help us now, what, we're going to build pyramids and live in pyramids that are like so big? We can't even get a square yard on property. We want to put a pyramid somewhere and live there? Really? What? Now, one thing I ask you to check out online. In the United States, the New World Order has a home base in the Ozark. It's
Those
got a
are,
wall.
yeah.
They got a wall. It's 6 feet wide. The building's bigger than the White House. It's surrounded by guards. And it's right over the entrance to the underground city, people. Do you care? Do you understand what's going on there? No. You understand anything about FEMA camps? Why they built FEMA camps? People, do you care about what's really going on? You want to live in dream world? That's fine. Aliens are not helping us in any way. They are programming people to believe whatever they want them to, which is usually, oh, aliens are
I think
good. They can help us.
people are too caught up in their own world. I think Hapgood's theory was actually true because they withdrew his book, changed it a bit, and they've only just re-released it again. It's got nothing really compared to what it had before. You got the volcanoes, the ring of fires going off, all these prehistoric and very old volcanoes are going off again. So you've got volcanism all around the planet. Something very large is either going to hit us and it's causing a pull on the Earth. We've got another moon apparently in orbit. Well, that will have consequences on tide and motion. We're in a part of the universe that we got hit last time by. Last time we were here, the dinosaurs were on the Earth, and we got hit by an asteroid. So we go up and down. So we're on the peak again, ready to get hit again. And the Chinese are drilling a 32,000 feet hole in the Earth. That is going to have huge impact on the Earth and how we revolve and things like that. So people need to wake up and smell like the roses. What is going on in our planet? We go through biological changes. The Earth is like a dishwasher or a washing machine on a cycle. Every now and then, mine's right, Tommy's right. Every now and then, it changes, clicks around. I mean, before the UK, Britain used to be a tropical island, and the last ice age only came down as far as London. So we weren't completely immersed, and we go through changes all the time. But we just don't live long enough to see them. So, people don't open their eyes, see what's in front of them, see what's happened before, and connect the dots, unfortunately.
Just so you know, we are creating more dome homes right now, people. And basically, they can pour them instantly with a what do you call it? A printer.
Cement mixer.
And they're making these dome homes as well right now. So it's not a fad. It's been here. I knew the guy that invented it years ago. They arrested him many times trying to say he was a fake. He produced a machine that could produce energy out of the air as well. So he invented both things. He invented a jackhammer that makes no noise. He invented about a bunch of different things. You can paint an egg with and put a blowtorch on it and it'll protect it from being burned. But he was in jail. It cost him a couple $1 million to get out. He was on the run because he was installing these generators for people. And he said, just send me money. Just send me money. But in the interim, he disappeared like everybody else does in the UFO world. But people, we're at a stage. We only have a few years to change everything that's going to happen. I don't see people at all involved with even thinking about what's going to happen. While all these rich UFO spiritualists are coming out saying everything's okay, we need to talk to aliens and everything's going to be fine. We're going into this. We're going to be high-dimensional beings. And what are you going to do as a high-dimensional being? You can't be a normal person, so you're going to be a higher being? That's like saying being Thor or Superman. What are you going to do then? Tear the world apart by yourself and try to make it the way you feel it should be? Like Gates and Musk and all those other people? We're in trouble, people. And you need to realize You need to understand you're going to die. And you should be worried about what happens after that happens, because the time here is kind of limited for most people. I mean, we could only live 125 years, but what's going to happen in the next 7 years is going to cut the population. And I'll tell you, at least in half. And that's a fact. Whether you want to believe that or not, that's your choice. But look at where we're headed. Look at what we're doing. They just talked about war online, and they're trying to get us ready. But the weapons that we created are dangerous, people. Tesla was very unaware of the effects of what he was creating, and he knew that we wouldn't use them wisely. That was his last words. And I think he went insane or whatever. They stripped him of his mind, whatever, because he lived in New York City in an apartment building for 10 years. Wouldn't let people touch him, come in, or anything. So,
Hughes did that as well, didn't he?
And he had no money. He never got any money for everything he created. And he created 200 inventions on this, actually copyrighted them and everything else. People, you can follow whoever you want, but just think about where it's going to lead you in the end. What, like Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, these people live in the moment. Well, you're living in the moment. What are you going to do in the moment is more important. You're going to sit there and say everything's beautiful and tell yourself, I love everybody? You think that's going to save the planet? Love was never the answer, and it still isn't. All right? It was created only 2,000 years ago, and you think by now we at least understand it a little more than we do. People in a relationship fall apart in 2 years, 6 years, 10 years, 20 years. Love doesn't fit into the picture. Oh, I love sex, or I love, we go out to dinner, we party. But what do you really love? Do you love the idea of soul connection? Do you even know what that is? I mean, there's so many things people will not get into in this lifetime. And sorry to say, you'll be reincarnated back into this world, and it's not going to be any better. If you've got karma, doesn't mean you're going to go to a better place when you leave, people. And all these people in the UFO world lying to these people, getting them to talk to aliens. Stephen Greer is like creating a center to train. And there's a few other people. Not Lou Elizondo. Not Jose Escamilla was killed, died. He was sick. But see, the government has a way to make people sick now with an injection. All right. And then I would tell you, every person that joins the Navy, Marine, and the Army already have a chip in them. And there's a lot they can do with that one little chip inside a person, other than just find them. So people, our world's being controlled, and it's going to grow every year now for the next 7 years. Food's going to disappear. The control is going to get greater than you could possibly imagine. Now, crime is going to escalate.
Yeah, that's on the rise here too.
Whatever kind of weapons you're going to have, I mean, sure, they're trying to outlaw just about every kind of weapon you can have. But by the same token, a slingshot is still good. You know what I say for people, especially women alone in the house? Go out and buy a can of wasp spray. Farming, you spray it on the bugs and kills them. It shoots about 20 feet. You could take out an army coming in the door. So it's a protection for women that are alone. I mean, it's this way they can't arrest you for having a deadly weapon or anything like that. People, we're going to be harassed greatly, and we are starting now. I mean, I don't know how long I'm going to be here. My partner's worried. People say, aren't you worried? I said, yeah, you know, look, my life's not long. I'm happy I lived this long. I experienced everything I could possibly want, including death. So, yeah, living here isn't beautiful. And people, it's so beautiful. I talk to a guy every day. Look at the beautiful trees. I said, look what we're doing to them. Look at the air. Look at the water. Look at the ground. It's all contaminated. Oh, but it's still beautiful. You know, it's like taking a, I don't want to get into it. The aliens are not helping us in any way, people.
With that, they're not. I have this.
Oh, no, here it comes.
Here it comes. So, guys, this is a, I keep putting my glasses on. I should know the name of it now after 2 years. It's electrical magnetical radiation tester. Now, I got this on Amazon for about 18 pounds, probably about $20 US. That's it there. That's what's on the back. Got it from Amazon, made in China. There you go. I have one. This is my second one, by the way, because the first one I think I dropped in my tea or in the sink. There is that one. And Tommy has the identical one in Hawaii. And he asked me to get this because I was having headaches, nosebleeds, losing teeth, losing nails. And so I'm just going to turn mine on here in the UK. Now, I have a smart screen TV screen. So at the top there, you can see it says, I'll try and get a better picture. It says volts per meter there, and at the bottom it says microteslas. So volts per meter at the top, that gives off electrical magnetic radiation, and at the bottom. Now, my screen shouldn't be giving off anything because I have a smart spring computer. But Tommy doesn't, and his goes off, and you can see it flashing on his face. And the closer I hold this to me, the more it's going to go up. So
Tina, I got it in front of you on my screen right now. It's at 80 on the bottom scale.
133 then.
Tina, well, Tina, my scale is going up on the radiation, and it's at 80, and I got it right next to your picture on the screen.
As you can see at the bottom, it says harmful.
It disappears,
when
right?
It says harmful, so that is actually harmful. So what we do, make it stop.
Tina, this is impossible. I got it on me right here. Where's the stupid camera? All right.
On the other side.
And I don't get any radiation. I move it over to your picture and I get radiation. That's something that's impossible. I tried to get 2 scientists to understand that. And they wouldn't get back
in the middle of my head, nothing. To the side of my head.
It's going off. Well, the Geiger counter has a cell in there that picks up from a certain direction. So you'll notice if you turn it different ways, it'll go different.
The top one, it's 878. Normally
it's 0. Right now. All right. But
turn it off now. Push that button, turn it off.
Now there's
Sorry,
nothing.
my hands. I've been in the gardening, so I do apologise. But yeah, I tried a bit of fresh air. And
what you just witnessed is impossible. What I just told you is impossible. I moved the camera 3 inches from my picture to her picture, and my radiation went up to 80 on the bottom. Impossible. People, do you care what's going on? Even help us get to the bottom of our problem. Tina has problems, and nobody's going to help her. You think the government would be more concerned about that? The Skinwalker Ranch doesn't even have that kind of a thing happening there. Imagine that. So, yeah, I'm trying to get in touch with one of those people, but they're all afraid to talk to people. Well, the gun thing, I don't want to get into it. We don't have the right to carry a gun. But we did because when the Constitution was created, those people were killing Native people, and they wanted everybody to have a gun to shoot a Native and scalp them.
Here in the UK, you don't know, you've got to apply for a license, but we use ours sensibly, I like to think, in the UK. But it's recently, this last few years, it's aimed at more older women have been buying guns and weapons and things like that because they allow women have their own clubs here in the UK, and they can go shooting, fishing, sporting, clay pigeon shooting, pheasant shooting. But it's a competitive, but they make it into weekends for women. So it's not just like a day. So people like me over the age of 50, or you could be below, or I'm getting ready for when I retire, say in another 10 or 15 years. So you join a club. It takes the fees are expensive, but you pay your bits and bobs, you get it all together. So when you're retired, you know where you're going, you've met everyone, and then you can kind of get on with it and make it a different way of life, a different pace of life. But it just seems like in America, and I can't just pick on America, other countries where people have been shot, they use things inappropriately. I mean, even here in the UK, they do. So I think it's just a matter of opinion on an individual basis, really. But yeah, it's there's a lot of craziness going on in the world.
People, we're not bragging. We're not here to brag about what happened to us. I could go on and on about hundreds of stories. I saw UFOs when I was little. I had ships following me for a half hour.
Someone called me an activist the other day. They told me they watched if you go on to Encounters on YouTube, put Tina Bird up, but Encounters YouTube, Tina Bird. And I put one of my friends filmed, my PA just filmed this video of me giving my speech on stage, and someone before that, and another speech I gave, just said, "Oh, you're an activist, aren't you?" I said, "An activist for what?" He said, "Oh, about abductees." I'm like, well, it's not about people bang on about human rights. They're entitled to this, they're entitled to that, they're entitled to sanctuary, they're entitled to be protected. Well, what about us? What about abductees?
We don't have rights.
We don't have rights. We have no recourse. No one's protecting us, and that is the crux of the matter there. But with that, I'm going to go off early because I don't feel too well again. I'm going to go and have some medicine and another hot cup of
No
tea.
problem. It's always a pleasure, Tina.
And I don't
Stay
want to go
in
into
touch.
another fit and cough
Let
on.
me, anything happens, just text me, please. Let me know
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
going
yeah.
on.
No, I'm hoping,
I worry
touch
about
wood,
you every day, Tina.
I'm hoping I've sorted it out now with my tablets. I just got to get rid of this chest infection. But thank you guys for watching. Sure, it is short this week, but I'm glad to be back. And I'm glad to see you all in the chat room and Tommy. But I've been Tina Bird here in Southampton in the UK. Please go onto Facebook. Please go onto YouTube. Please subscribe and like and share. Please do that. Watch, like, subscribe, and share. Sorry, I can't get my words out. And I've got a couple of, if you look into my library there, I put a couple of other videos up of the Basis project when they interviewed me as well about my abduction and things like that. So my abduction's on there via Basis, which is on my library on Encounters on YouTube, and you'll see my the human side of contact video on there. Please like, subscribe, and share. But until next week, I'll see you all then, guys. Thank you, Tommy. As always, it's been a pleasure. Bye, guys, and I'll see you next week.
Bye-bye, Tina. Stay healthy. You know, people, we got so many things going on right now. And more people are worried about guns, having guns, not having guns. I don't want to get into that. I have my own viewpoint. Nobody on this planet has the right to kill another person. Nobody. All right? When the people think they do, when they think we have the right to go blow up a country and blow up cities and all that kind of stuff is pathetic. It has nothing to do with anything spiritual, obviously. And most people on this planet do not know what the word spiritual even means. All these new age speakers claiming this, that, and the other thing have no idea of a real God, no idea of death, no idea of what happens to body, soul, or any of that. So when you listen to these speakers and pay and go and watch their conferences and stuff like that, you're paying money for stories that are just going to try to make you feel good. Mankind is at a point, they just want to try to feel good. They don't care about anything else. Feeling good is the number one thing that people want. No matter how they get it. Drugs, drinking, smoking, sex, what else? Cheap thrills is a big thing now. Getting close to death. If you want to see how ignorant, stupid, and crazy people are, go on MTV and watch Ridiculousness. It's on almost every day. It's on for hours at a time. And they show you what men and women are doing that is so pathetic, crazy. It's mind-boggling. Half of them are almost dead. They don't show you if they die or not. You would think that half of them get really, really hurt, which they have to. Whether they die or not, they don't show you the ending part. And they say, don't send any videos of a person getting hurt or anything like that to us. But everything they show is really dangerous and people getting hurt. So, and it's on all the time. So MTV must be making tons of money off of it because they play it all the time. And they do about 10 in a row every twice a week. But they're on all week and they show you. They've been on for almost 2 years already. But what's it have to do with aliens? I think men in general are so programmed, they have no clue what's happening. Gizmo, hold on. Gizzy, stop it. Hold on, let me let him out. Sorry about that. My little Gizmo wanted to get out of the room. Well, for me, I was doing hypnosis when I was little. And Tic Tac's not as bad, believe it or not. Tic Tac has a lot of good things. Nothing on this show is happy, funny, but they laugh at people getting hurt. It's all about people getting hurt. And drinking, doing the most gross things on the planet. And it stays on. There's usually a girl and a guy sitting on there, and one guy that's standing that's talking most of the time. And the girl's always cracking up laughing. She's got the funniest laugh. And they make fun of everything that's happening. He's a lot better, thank you. But you know, when I watch it, it bothers me that people are that ignorant. Seriously, why? Well, there's nothing for people to look forward to, nothing good for them to think about, other than what's happening to the planet, and then it's half of that's all lies. They won't tell the world what's going on with the aliens and stuff like that. Won't tell the people. When a war happens in China and Russia and all these countries, they never give you the number of how many people are really killed. I mean, even the numbers in Vietnam and stuff. They were killing kids 14 years old. The Vietnamese were sending their children out there. My ex-girlfriend was on the front line as a nurse. And all she did every day for 2 years straight was wash dead bodies. So when you hear things, look beyond the lies that you hear. We have been using chemical weapons already. There was videos up online showing in Afghan and all these other places where they're using laser guns on a car. It actually cuts the car in half, including the person inside it. Technology is beyond that. Oh, we outlawed chemical warfare. So? You think I'm not going to use it because you said you outlawed it? Somebody's going to attack you. You will use any weapon you can to defend yourself, legal or not. Well, that's illegal. You can't use that. What are you supposed to use? Your finger? Don't come near me. I'll poke you. So, when aliens come down and take people, sad part is most people are frozen, can't move, can't do anything about it. Now, I'm going to tell you something that nobody has ever spoken about, and it's hard for me to talk to Tina about it. She doesn't believe in religion because it hasn't helped her as well. But the word spiritual is not with many people on this planet. Not many people claiming they are. It has nothing to do with what it really is. If you are spiritual, have any connection with a deity or an angel, really, not dreaming, fantasizing, hallucinating, a real connection, aliens cannot touch you. And they can't do things to you as well. And I can go on stories about that, but I don't have the time to do it right now. Maybe I will one day. But their vibration's low. All right, they're not spiritual. People think they got high. Technology has nothing to do with spiritualism, people, either. Do you understand that? Aliens have super technology. That doesn't make them spiritual. They don't know a thing about a real God. They didn't teach the Egyptians, the Mayans, anything spiritual. Reincarnation, their ideas that they programmed with, are useless. It has nothing to do with helping a person cross over or when they come back. What was the movie? Premature Burial or something? He prepared everything in his crib that when he comes back, that he can survive. But there was a disease that made people die for a short period of time, and they came back. But when you come back, it's not going to be the same, and you're not going to have the memory. And that's sad because we're here many times, and until you step higher than where you think you are, when you start understanding all that, aliens are reincarnating into humans, people, because they're a lower level vibration. They're not higher. Weapons and stuff doesn't make a person vibration higher. And I could go on about a few people that are very, very programmed and really destroying the UFO world. Caroline Corey claims a lot of things. She claims she can change DNA. Well, that's not complicated. And all these other people, well, do this meditation, you change your DNA. So, what are you? You turned into a bat? All these ideas and do this meditation, you get rid of karma. No, it doesn't work like that. We're responsible for every action we do in this reality, and we pay it back in this reality. All right. No, you need the memory, because if you want to move forward, you can't move forward if you don't know what you already did. And sadly, in every lifetime when you reincarnate, you're still going to stick your hand in fire to see what happens, because you're not aware of the first time you did it. All right, people, I can go on. I don't know how you feel. I was up for the past 2 days dealing with a hack. They put me on the black web, dark web, whatever you want to call it. And it's been a nightmare trying to change passwords, get rid of my phone number and all these things. But I'm going to be careful now. I used to give my phone number out to people and all this other stuff. It's not safe to do anything anymore. I mean, they can hack you so many different ways if they want to. And now, I just, Tina talked about a couple different things, how Men in Black went to a friend's house, how they tried running her boyfriend over twice in a month, once on a bike and once when he was walking the dog. It's starting to get heavy. First they threaten you. Sometimes they offer you money, which if they could give me money right now, I'd walk away from this as well because my partner's sick and I'd do anything to help her get better before I leave. I'm not worried about me. If they could take me out tomorrow and I wouldn't care. All right. Somebody asked me a really important question, and Tina's not here, so I can probably get into it. All right. Vibration and reincarnation, they're kind of separate. I mean, people can tell you a lot of different things. Vibration is what we are. Soul, which is us, inside this body. All right. When this body dies, that steps out of it. Okay. When you have a death experience, it steps out of it. That's what you are. But everything has a vibration. All right. And learning to deal with that and change it and work with that, you have to be at a certain spiritual level. Well, I'm spiritual. I'm going to raise my vibration. No, you don't raise your vibration. All these programmed people out there, oh, do this meditation. I'm going to give you a word and it'll raise you to 6-dimensional beings. Your vibration will be so high. Oh, well, that's like a singer. How many singers can sing and shatter a glass? Vibration is what we are, but certain vibrations cannot exist in this reality because it's too high. If, just for an idea, if God came into this world, the world would blow up. The vibration would be too high for it. People vibrate. Everything has a vibration. A solid object, a tree, a rock has a vibration. All right. But it's not a spiritual vibration, meaning it goes beyond the physical realm, this first level of awareness or whatever you want to call it. And as it goes into the second world, it has to be much higher. And if it isn't, everybody dies. Everybody goes to the astral plane for a short period of time. And the max is usually 5 to 10 years before a person reincarnates, people. But if you get to stay there, your vibration has to be higher. Because at that vibration, your body, what you're in, is called your astral body, is different. All right? You can't kill it. You can't kill somebody else. You can't do those kind of things. You don't have to eat. You could be any age you want and stay there. But it's kind of a learning period. But see, once you get there, it's so much better than here. You don't want to move forward from there. People here think it's so beautiful here, don't want to leave here. And it keeps them tied to this planet. But the vibration of this planet, every level of awareness, every plane that you travel, soul goes and changes to its different bodies, mental body, astral body, causal body, etheric body, up into the soul plane. They all have a different vibration. Those vibrations can't come into the lower vibrations. All right. So when we get into the astral plane and we stay there, the vibration's high. They don't become angels because you die. You don't become Superman because you die. All right. Your vibration doesn't make you anything better than what you already are. All right. The awareness that you attained. You don't become God realized. I mean, for a word, you have to be God realized to an idea of what God is, but you don't become God. You don't have the abilities God has or anything like that. The concept is twisted because man doesn't understand anything. When Jesus was teaching about God, they didn't know what a God was. They didn't have love. Love did not exist either, people. And you can't teach love. Is there schools around teaching love? They could try, but what can they teach you about love? Oh, you got to give, you got to take. And no, that's not teaching about love. Love's a connection to soul, period. And it's much different. It's a higher vibration. That's why Hinduism was the first religion on the planet. Their whole foundation is based on sex and vibration. Kundalini energy, Kama Sutra sex, all that's vibration. But they believe the sexual energy could bring you into God and all that. It's all lies man created for themselves. All right, I can go into that, and I do teach on that as well. But as far as where we are with aliens, in Atlantis, people were spiritually aware. It was the highest vibration this planet was ever in. All right, I call it the Garden of Eden. It was, and then it was destroyed. And then alien races didn't make us, they reprogrammed us. They taught us how to kill, abuse, steal, sacrifice. All those words didn't exist. Man doesn't naturally kill other people. Man didn't eat animals either in Atlantis. Near the end, it became so corrupt, and there was 9 alien races, and 5 of them, we were all alien races. There were 9 races here. 5 of them just left. They attained a higher level and left. The 4 that were here, black, yellow, red, and white, stayed, and they were reprogrammed. Now, there's no race on this planet that's better than another race. The native people in the United States are no better than any other tribe in the world. The Muslims are no better than the Christians. They all have a very unaware awareness of God. Their idea of God is limited. Muhammad claimed to work with Gabriel, an angel. Angels aren't teachers, not in this reality. Well, we're going to go to war soon, but that's besides the point. But the New World Order is taking control. It's going to be one leader on this world. Watch the alien interrogation. I told everybody to watch it. He says one alien's going to destroy the planet. One person's going to destroy the planet. And the government was harassing him, torturing him, trying to get him to say who it was. Well, when we go to the astral plane, we're vibrating in that level. So that's the level we can attain. If you attain a higher level, you can go into the mental plane, the 3rd, 4th worlds. But there's gods there too, little gods. I call them deities, whatever. And you have to go past them, because somebody that thinks they're God can't go into the higher worlds because they could destroy it. Realize angels were thrown out of the higher realms because they decided to fight. All right, and they will kick down into the lowest level, which is called the astral plane in hell, which is here. And now, because of Nikola Tesla, the astral plane is merging with the physical reality. That's why we have deities and creatures and all these things popping up everywhere. People are filming them everywhere. It shouldn't be like that, but because Tesla blew a hole and created a vortex up in Wanaka, New Jersey, it changed reality. And that was after the Philadelphia experiment, and then it became the Montauk Project. I know a lot about that, more than all the books out there. They don't tell you the truth about anything. All right, when a man writes, I don't write. I mean, I do write, but I say the only thing that's the matter is what I'm saying in the moment, because your awareness changes every second. It's either better or worse. It's like going up a ladder. You either go up it or go down it, or you could stay right where you are on the ladder. So you got a choice, right? We always have the ability to move forward if we want to. But you can't listen to these people out there. You can't listen to all these speakers. Lou Elizondo has said nothing in the past 2 years that's important in the UFO world. The creator of Disclosure, no, he didn't create it. He thinks he did. I was lecturing from 96 to 2002, and he was just making his big name. He claimed he was a doctor in a hospital and all these things. I had a friend who was I don't know if you ever heard of Almeen Barton. Well, she teaches the Melchizedek's teachings. She's an incredible person. I was friends with her, really liked her. I wanted to be with her for a while, but lots of things happened. But during that time frame, Mr. I'm not going to say Stephen Greer, was creating himself some publicity. Now, he was a doctor, and suddenly he quit being a doctor to go into the UFO world? How do you do that without money? So money came from somewhere, and what he's teaching is something different. Aliens could have gave him gold, could have did a lot of things to help him get to promote them, because he's opening up a giant center. He's still grabbing money for that too, to teach people how to talk to aliens. And he's not the only one. Now, Sir Harriman, I went to see him here in Hawaii. At the end of the workshop, which was like an hour and a half before it ended, he goes, I want to help you and teach you how to get on and work with the Galactic Confederation. They have never did one thing for the human race, ever. So, and then again, it's a program. So here's the thing, people. You need to watch who you listen to, who you follow. I'm not giving you any bad information. My life's on the line. My life is under God. Everything I do goes back to it itself. If I'm wrong, take me out, destroy me, burn me up. If I lie, please do. I'm not going to bring lies into this world. I'm not going to promote lies in this world. That's why I limited people on my show. I brought a billionaire on my show, and I didn't realize, I thought he sounded really interesting until he said he's building a big base center for aliens to land, to work with our government. People believe aliens are going to work with them? Really? Do these people have so much of an ego? Aliens are evil, all of them. I mean, the Nordics are not good. They travel on ships with the reptilians, people. They're not good. They're not Jesus. They're not all because they're dressed in white, blonde hair, blue eyes. That makes them spiritual, right? We're so programmed. Jesus wasn't that either. Jesus didn't have blue eyes, wasn't blonde. All right. His eyes were dimensional, but they weren't blue. People, are you ready for the truth? Do you want it? Please put your questions. Send them to me. Hawksblood1@AOL.com. I'll go into any subject pertaining to where we are right now in a conversation or where we usually go. Tina's going through hell every which way. I just hope she keeps staying every day that I see her, because you hear what's going on in her body and what the government says and what they try to prove and everything else. It's all lies. They cut a giant mass out of her stomach, turn around and say it's a birth control device. This big in her body, in her stomach? Really? Luckily, one nurse told her after the operation. She would have never even known that, because the video was not, she was not allowed to see the video. When she went to court to get the video, they said, nope, it's too controversial. Too controversial. Even if you put an implant in somebody, is that controversial? Yeah, who put it in? How did it get there? And what is it really doing? And what does it really look like? All that was a lie because we couldn't find out or see it. The government saw it. They got the video. But I said, if we get enough people, I mean, the UFO people don't get involved with important things. Sean David Mont was on my show last week. He was one of the most important people in the UFO world. He was at every conference. He was the main speaker when they had the panels. He was on Coast to Coast. I mean, on Art Bell's show. He was on every month on his show. He brought people to Area 51 to watch the motherships come in. And that's why he was attacked by the government. All right. Truth doesn't come out if they can help it. And you think now they would let more truth out. They're trying to stop as much as they can. But it's pouring out. Go into any site. I just joined the site. I don't have it up. But they're showing videos and pictures of ships and aliens and everything else. It's all not fake, people. Imagine just one video of an alien is real. Guess what? It's real, isn't it? That would change reality if it was out to actually say, okay, this is a real video. So Joel 18, who I worked with for 6 years, we had a picture brought to New York City. It was analyzed by the top photo company, and they said it was not made up. It was not tampered with. It's an actual photo. They blew it up 100 times, exposed it to infrared and all kinds of things, and they could show you it had a point to the front of the ship with kind of like windows, but no wings and nothing. Didn't make a sound. And this was in 1996. People, look, I'm not going to go much further. I could, but I'm still trying to recuperate from being attacked with my hackers that went out there. And I know it's not going to be over. Things don't end easily. I had $50 put in my bank last night. Wow. I said, what if it's somebody putting money in my account? Because if they could get into my account, they could take it out. Just got called during the show, first call, the bank saying, hey, we put $500 in your bank account. We have to take it out. It was put in by mistake. I said, no, you gave it to me. You can't take it back. Well, we can't give it to you. So they took it back. But people, the weirdest things are happening right now. Like I said, I lost many of my sites. I had Skype, which I use a lot. Okay. But StreamYard, I'm having problems now. Then when I was on LinkedIn, they took that site away from me the third time. 2 times they warned me, but they took it away. I had 3,500 followers. All right. And that's gone. I mean, I made a new link site. I made a new Facebook site, but I got what, 10 people following me or in it, trying to build up my followers and stuff. But people, people rather hear ancient aliens and their pathetic ideas of what's really going on than the truth. Aliens have never helped us. They didn't help us do anything better. Realize every device we create doesn't bring us closer to God at all. Every penny we make doesn't make us more spiritual. And I got to say this because I got to say it all the time. I'm aware of all my past lives from Atlantis to now. I was alive when Jesus was alive. Mary Magdalene was my closest friend. She was the most spiritual woman to ever live on this planet, not Mary, the mother of Jesus. She had to finish teaching the disciples. How could she teach them anything if she didn't know it? So they give Mary the mother all this credit and her none. Well, the Knights of Templar still follow her, but she's no longer here, obviously. But her daughter was for a long period of time. But getting back to the truth, when I was there, these people weren't smart. They didn't have scholarships and things like that. They could barely run a farm, go fishing, things like that. Talking about them other dimensions, other realities, how could they understand it? They barely understood what relationships were until they saw Jesus and his wife. I mean, he never got to see his daughter, but by the same token, half of his followers helped kill him. And people say they're spiritual. Oh, they're religious. What's religious mean? You follow a programmed idea? Do you follow what God put us here for? No. You don't even know what the reason is for being here. Well, I don't want to talk about that. That's not even a topic right now. I'm not going to go into that either, but her skull is in France. And I only found that out. If I would have known that years ago, I would have went to France. It's in a giant temple. They say it's the most incredible artifact on the planet. Most energy, most spiritual object. They said if they took it out, it would probably heal dead people, bring them back, and all kinds of things. It doesn't leave the temple, but the temple is being visited by people from all over the world all the time. But again, it doesn't mean you have to be Christian to follow a skull. It's what she did. She left where she was. Her and Thomas were the only people that escaped the country. And she went to France, and she was teaching there. Thomas went to India and started teaching. So there was a change in some of the parts of their religion because of that. But the rest of them were all killed. All Jesus' disciples. I mean, the ones that turned against him, they didn't practice what he taught, so they weren't killed. People that practiced what Jesus taught were all killed. I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole different subject. But aliens existed. Jesus talked about them. He didn't say aliens. They didn't use that word then. All right. People didn't understand anything. And that's why he used father. He used the word father because they all had a father, so they understood that. But where did their father really come from? So, again, we're dealing with aliens coming here, and they're changing the planet. It will change very soon, and it is changing right now. The world is becoming radioactive. The sun's going crazy. The ring of fire is going crazy. Earthquakes are super crazy right now. Never in 100 years were they this bad. All right, there's so many things. There's a mud hole. I forgot where it is exactly, but it's open, and China wants to go, 10 times further than we ever went down inside the earth. And all kinds of weird stuff's going on, but nothing to help mankind. A famous army person, high up, came out last week, said there's 1.5 million people living on the moon right now. Do you want to believe that or not? These people come out when? How many years after an event or after something's happening? And then what kind of proof do they show or give? I don't believe in whistleblowers because usually they're years after it happened. All right? and that means they're waiting for their pension or they're waiting for something. I know you can't talk. You sign a paper in the government 25 years or 50 years. My brother was a scientist. He had to sign it for 25 years. And he only told me a few things 25 years later. Because there's certain things that I'm not even allowed to talk about ever. So, people realize when you see something, it's been here for at least 25 years. Sean David Martin can tell you about ships and things and people Ray Bell worked on. We have 2 ships that can go to Mars and back, just so you know that, people. Laura Eisenhower said she went to Mars with the president. I don't know. I had her on my show. We had 120,000 people following the show that day. She wouldn't debate one word I said and asked me to come on a show. But that never happened because I don't agree with one thing she really believes in. And, love and light and all this other stuff. No, that's not going to change the reality of this world. Man's ego is what runs it. Man's ignorance what controls everything we do. We don't do anything spiritual. We never did. We don't do anything beneficial. We're going to stop making cans. We're going to stop making antifreeze. We're going to stop. That doesn't change what we do. Because nobody, and I write letters every day to these, global warming, global peace, let's do this, Earth Day, and all these things. I said, why don't you talk about what's causing the real problem? Al Gore, when he created the word global warming and was paid to promote it, he showed all the effects of what's going to happen and what could happen. He never said what's causing it, ever. And now there's 5 major things causing it. I'm not going to go into it. When somebody talks about frequency, it's beyond our frequencies. Our frequencies can only stay within our reality. When you get a frequency machine and say, whoa, this measures frequency. We are at a spiritual level at 450, whatever it is. Nobody, they could change the vibration to the planet. In Hawaii, they tried that to see if they could calm the drug addicts down. I mean, people are doing weird things. Vibration is a laser. All right? And it could destroy or heal and do a lot of different things. But it's always in the person that's holding it and what their intentions and ideas are to do with it. Frequencies, there's no such thing as a higher frequency here. It's a higher awareness, period. Frequencies can vibrate as high as they can on this reality to a certain level. That's why they got a scale from here to there. All right? Remember when we had one frequency for radio and shortwave and long wave? All of them are just limited. It's like they talk about the DNA strands. Well, there's actually 32, and there's probably more than that as well. But they can't even get into the other ones yet or even understand them. And I'm not going to promote somebody's book. I'm not going to promote their name. But in another country, they said they found in a pyramid a machine that tells you what alien race you're from. We're all from somewhere, people. We didn't hatch here. Don't believe we did. No matter what they tell you. We didn't come out of Adam and Eve's bone. I mean, Eve didn't come out of Adam's bone and things like that. Even the Pope said it was a fake story. But what's he know? Nothing. He knows nothing about a real God. I write him a letter every day. I wrote to Deepak Chopra as much as I can, Eckhart Tolle, and the Dalai Lama. And I said, look, any one of you got a pair of balls willing to talk about what you think you know? Not one person ever gets back to me. I mean, I might have a crazy person get back to me, but I'm talking about people in the real world out there, mainstream, are afraid to lose their credibility. Eckhart Tolle cannot talk about God. Deepak Chopra cannot talk about God, cannot talk about angels, cannot talk about death. The only thing they can talk about is the moment. Be happy, realize you can get anything you want. No, you can't. You get a job, you get a better job, get more money. Money has no solution or connection to God. So people, I maybe I'll do another show by the end of the week on the spiritual side. I never say I'm spiritual because I'm still in this hellhole. Spiritual things can't vibrate here. Or if they do it, we destroy it. So they're not allowed here. All right. The angels' vibration were all taken down to a lower notch. That's why they're all in the Esther plane. One angel, all right, is one of the highest angels, and that's his name was Lucifer. All right, he's in the Esther plane. He's not bad. Satan is the one that's bad, and Satan ain't Lucifer's son. People, you believe stories, and what does man really know? I had a vision, and the vision. Sure, visions can be real, but most of them are not. What I'm saying, the only thing that matters to you is what you can prove to yourself. Did you live before? What did you do? How many times? Why are you here? You need to answer them for yourself. I mess with all the most powerful people on this planet. The 5 most spiritual people are the ones I mentioned. Supposedly, and they know nothing about God. I stand behind God, so nothing can hurt me that way. Sure, the government can come in here and shoot me, but they can't destroy my soul. They can't touch it. I mean, they can't abduct me. Aliens can't touch me either. I proved that many times. I saved my brother from getting abducted when I was 6 years old. People, I was doing hypnosis. I was a high priest at 16. I was dealing with the head high priest of the mob in New Jersey. I dealt with big people. I'm not afraid of that. That can't touch me. I was doing ghost busting from 16 to 19. We went to New York City, the Juma Mansion, one of the most haunted houses in the United States. George Washington had his headquarters there. I mean, all the battles that went on there. And then Madame Jumel took over the house, who was and nobody knows it, his illegitimate daughter. And Jumel, her husband, was killed and died in the room. They don't even know or let you go into that room. But I had a friend who was the top psychic rated in the United States at that time. Patty, I'll just say her first name. And she could channel incredible, anything. Most spirits that are free to do it, she can channel. You can't say, I want to channel this person and channel them. It's souls that are stuck, that can't go anywhere, that'll come through. Ludwig Beethoven was one of them. But the battle that went on in New Jersey between, let's see, can't even think of his name. They had a fight, the famous duel, and he killed the other one, Hamilton and Burr. And Burr stayed in the Juma Mansion. He died there. You go in there, you can see the bed going up and down with him breathing on it. So the stories are a lot more real, but they don't know the real truth behind it. Native people didn't scalp people, but the white people scalped them and got paid for it. And they were allowed to kill them. That's why they were given guns, not to go out and defend the neighborhood and kill everybody or blow up a city or whatever. It got worse and worse with high-tech weapons and stuff. People, you want what you want, and you're programmed to believe that. But one day, one incarnation, you're going to realize you're in hell. It's not a place we're not trying not to get into. We're trying to get out of it, and you should be. There's nothing here spiritual. Nothing here is spiritual, people. Believe what you want. Oh, I'm spiritual. Why? What do you do that's spiritual? Oh, I send money to here. Money doesn't solve spiritualism. It doesn't help a person. Building weapons and toys and men only build better toys. That's what they're here for, to build a better toy than what they have. I look at the toys I had when I was little to the toys children have now. The biggest obscene toy that everybody has is a computer. I mean, it's got its good points, but the crime and the abuse and everything else that's going on, it is 10 times worse. All right, people. I hope you got something out of it today. Please send this link that you have or copy it from above, wherever you are. Send it to every friend that you have if you can, please. I got to try to get it a little out there. People need the truth. They don't need more men telling them more retarded, sick stories. Sorry, wrong word. Pathetic stories. Oh, you want to get back to the frequency? Every plane vibrates at a certain frequency. The sound, when you go into a plane, it vibrates with the sound. No, that's not a... People, you hear things. It's not a lie. I was alive in 2 native lifetimes. My study with Thomas Bianca, the oldest Hopi elder on the planet. I met with the, look, you talk, I was with the head medicine man of the Chippewa Nation. All right, people, you want to believe what you want, that's your choice. Disease was created by white man, given it to native people, but it was a weapon. It wasn't a disease. You put gunpowder in their wine, it kills them, people. And then when they brought the whole story, I don't want to get into those stories. We're not going there. But getting back to vibration, the sound here is a hardcore sound. Sounds of factories, like every plane gets. The fifth plane is like a flute and a violin, the vibration. When you go beyond the sixth plane, it sounds like the 12th plane is called the sound of the universe, of planets moving. Everything has a sound. Oh, if there's no sound, would it be? Would you hear it? Would it be there? I mean, all these stories that they put on TV, commercials, and everything. Everything has a vibration, and these realms have this frequency, and you got to adjust to that frequency to get into it. And there's just a sound you could relate to. The soul plane is flute. I mean, then it goes into the violin, and then multiple harps, and all of it together. But the astral plane is really hard and loud. The physical plane is super hard and loud. But they're not beneficial, and they don't help you unfold until you can tune into a higher frequency, meaning getting out of the body and going into the astral plane and learning how to move from there. All right, it takes a lot of work. Very few people do it. I'm not bragging because I did it, but you can. Anybody can, if that's what they want and truly feel is right. And they have to believe in God and know God and know the realms and accept what you got to go through to get there. Oh, I went through hell every which way. I had to come into this lifetime to get to where I am today. And, it's multiple lifetimes. We're here over 300 lifetimes, people. It sounds like a lot. It's not. 125 years of learning nothing is nothing. In my lifetimes, out of all of them, it's a hardcore sound. Like I said, hardcore drums, a bunch of drums, really bass drums, pounding together. I mean, when you stick your fingers in your ears and you hear the dum 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 dum. All right, it's kind of what it would sound like. But here it's like the machine's going. If you walked into a factory, I mean, you stick your fingers, you can hear that as well. All right, they're not spiritual. They can't take you anywhere. The only place you can get is the astral plane. Most people can't get any further than that, or won't. And it's basically the protection of your soul. Like I said, it has a vibration. And when we leave this body, we move into our astral body, which is a higher vibration than this body. All right? I mean, vibration's a word. And we give it to things beyond, in the lower worlds, from the fifth world down to here. Beyond that, it's not vibration, it's light. Big separation. All right? And light's much more powerful than sound. And what controls all these worlds is the light and sound that comes from God through each realm. But it gets weaker and weaker as it hits planet Earth. In the astral plane, it's stronger. In the mental plane, it's stronger. In the soul plane, it's the highest the soul can absorb and be in. But you can move beyond that. But you have to let go of the soul body. That frequency is, like I said, a high flute. And it's incredible. Imagine the whole planet vibrating as a flute sound. All right, every plane vibrates, and ours is horrible. The astral plane in the physical world, vibrations are pretty bad. I mean, if you could hear flutes, you could hear violins, you can get into that realm for short seconds and time. When you get into those realms, time is different as well. You could be there for a year, and it's only like 5 seconds, 5 minutes here. So reality of that aspect changes. Einstein had no clue. He was working with an alien race in the inner level. Now, Tesla worked with aliens in the physical. He was given 200 inventions. He didn't go to school and come out and invent 200 inventions because he had good scholarship. None of those theories existed. Time travel didn't exist. All right. Well, people, if you want, I'm probably getting into a spiritual class. If you want more, stay in touch. Friend me on YouTube. You'll see my next class coming up. I get into all the planes, but I don't want to do it here. Hopefully, these people care what aliens are doing to our planet. Laser light can hurt really bad, and it's the most powerful. The sun's light can heal you the same as it could burn you. So, everything has a good and bad aspect to it. And even yourself, which part of you do you want to work with? And the most important spiritual law, people, is the law of non-interference, which nobody agrees or follows at any level. If everybody did that, we wouldn't be in any kind of a mess that we're in now. The world would be at peace. But, mankind's ego and money are controlling everything. Until you start stepping out of your body, I don't know if you can or not, can you feel the difference in vibration? It's not like a frequency number. You can't number these vibrations. Not like, oh, well, this frequency. That's physical awareness. Until you feel what you're vibrating at. How do you explain what you're vibrating at? Oh, it can't be measured really. They can measure soul leaving the body in this reality, but they can't measure what it really is. When you're in your astral body and you're in the astral plane, you can understand it. And when you leave the astral plane, you'll understand what vibration can change of what you are. Your body changes. What you look like changes. You're male and female in the astral plane. As you move into the fourth realm, you're one solid entity, meaning not male or female. God's not male or female. Has no genitalia or any of those words. Does not exist. But again, people, we want certain answers. When you ask a question, you're expecting what you want to hear. I'll tell you, hell is hell, and we live in hell, and it's useless. It's not going to help you grow until you're ready to look for God, really. All right, people. Till next time. Dream all you want, have fantasies all you want, but there is a reality to some of it, and you should search it out. Because when your body changes and you die, you're not going to be there too long, and you'll come back into another body. And kar is really short for karma, which is the body. Okay, people. Peace. Sorry. Till next time.